Imperium Soup is dead. Long live Imperium Soup. What up, nerds? My name's Lester. Welcome to your mom's basement. I've seen a lot of confusion ever since the FAQ dropped on posts and whatnot, so I'm going to provide you a quick guide to what all of this stuff means here in the big FAQ for Warhammer 40k. Now, this is, of course, my interpretation as I have read it. It is not gospel, and it is not necessarily 100% accurate, but I think if you want to have a discussion with your group, your gaming group and whatnot, this is a good way that you can, this is a tool you can use to have a discussion. All right, so I'm just going to go down the line. I'm not going to read these things one by one, but what I will do is I'm going to just explain the overall meaning of each segment. So we're going to start off with the finalized match play rules, where they took the beta rules from last time, from their last update, and have put them together and just put them out. So Psychic Focus has been changed so that for everybody except the Grey Knights and the Thousand Suns, because they have the Brotherhood of Psychers and Brotherhood of Sorcerers abilities, if they are casting consecutive smites in the smite phase, those smites get weaker, because they are going to, each attempt of smite is going to be reduced, the roll is going to be reduced by 1 for every time you do it. Great for Thousand Suns, great for Grey Knights, kind of great for the game as a whole because, well, it makes smite spam a little harder for forces that aren't supposed to have it. Also, now characters can't be targeted. Characters can still be targeted and can still be screened, but they cannot be screened by other characters that are eligible to be screened. So if you have a 9 wound character in front of another 9 wound character, then those characters can't screen for each other. You can shoot either of those characters in the shooting phase. Next up, the beta matched play rules. The huge changes to tactical reserves here. And yeah, it's crazy. So with the new changes to tactical reserves that are in the beta rules, by the way, you should probably start playing this because the beta rules are probably going to get used by tournament organizers and will become the real rules, as we saw with the updated Psychic Focus and the updated character rule above. So with tactical reserves, now they have added in some extra stipulations. So the biggest one, I think, is that if you do a turn, the biggest two, I should say, if you do a turn 1 drop with your tactical reserves or your deep striking units, they have to deep strike into your own deployment zone. Okay? That's huge. That's really nasty. Also, they've added the overall power level in consideration for what you can have in tactical reserves. So now, before, it was just your straight up unit count. So if you had 2 units in tactical reserves, you would have to have at least 2 units on the table. Now, with the beta tactical reserves, you have to equalize the power level as well. So if you have, say, Mr. Drop Pod here, and get in focus, okay. So if you have Mr. Drop Pod here, focus please, focus, thank you. And this Grey Hunter, who represents an entire unit of Grey Hunters, you have to have the equivalent number of units, so you'd have to have 2 units on the table, and also they would have to have an equal power level to the Grey Hunter unit and the Drop Pod. Which is interesting because, you know, it's match play, so normally power level doesn't come into account, but it does here. With this rule as well, Battle Brothers, I find this one really interesting. So if you're using the keywords Chaos, Imperium, Eldari, Inari, or Tyranids, you cannot smush those units into a single detachment. You can still do soup across your entire army, but you can't do it in a detachment. So no more of those detachments that are, say, 2 Thunder Wolf Lords and 3 troop choices, 3 infantry squads of Imperial Guard, or Astra Militarum, whichever you want to call it. So that's dead. But instead, you would have to bring, if you wanted those units, you would have to bring a full detachment of Space Wolves and a full detachment of Astra Militarum in order to use those units together. So that is sweet. Interestingly, they also came up with a bunch of errata here, and once again, check it out down below. I'll provide a link to the thing, and they've added rules to let some units that for the Imperium that literally they don't have any HQ choices or anything, run in their own special kind of Vanguard detachments in order to run. And a really long-winded bit for the Eldar and Inari to run their soup as well that they've added, but I'm not going to go over that word by word because that is not what I'm here for. That's my alarm. Okay. Tide of Traitors got nerfed. Also, detachment command benefits, they have increased the number of command points that you get for battalions and brigades. Battalions have been raised to 5 CP for every battalion, and brigades have gone on all the way up to 12. Really rad. So Tide of Traitors took a huge nerf where you can only use it once per battle, so you won't be seeing just tons of cultists every game, or every couple of rounds. They actually go away now. And also, Word of the Phoenix has had its warp charge increased to 8, which is neat. I don't know what it was before. Now, Feel No Pains don't stack the way that they used to. Now you can really only use 1 Feel No Pain per phase. Every time a model uses a wound. So previously, you could take, say, Bjorn the Fell-Handed, who has a natural 5-up Feel No Pain, and give him the leadership, or the Warlord trait that will give him a 6-up Feel No Pain, and you would be able to use both. But now you can't do that anymore. And then there is a new organized events chart. And in this chart, they have limited the number of detachments and also the number of times that a datasheet can be included in an army. So for, say, our Thursday Throwdowns, which run at 1,000 points, that means that each datasheet could only be used twice in those. And we're going to be playing with those rules. And it's not limited. This limit doesn't apply to troops or dedicated transports. All right? So, and then there's some points. There's some points changes. So yeah, that is it for the FAQ. It's actually not a lot. It's really interesting how thin it is, but it does make some big changes to the game. If you think I got anything wrong, we can have a discussion down in the comments. Go ahead, leave a comment. Click a like if you do. Comment if you want. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button, and you too can live in your mom's basement. Bye.